Hello everyone, Rob Frankel from Avalon Honda Collision Repair. Now not only can we repair all makes and models as Cape May County's only Pro First certified shop and I-CAR certified shop, but we can do simple things for you as well that you may not know about. For example, windshield repair. Now it can happen to any of us. Driving along the road, you hear that telltale smack, and as we can see, this is a double bullseye connected by a crack. Now, many of you may not know that the windshield is a structural component of your car. It helps in the event of rollover collisions, also helps absorb energy in the event of a crash. So we really want to make sure that that windshield is repaired properly. So let's go over why a professional repair far outlasts anything that you'll see in a store. It's safer for you and better for your car. Let's dig in. Now the first thing we want to do is we really want to make sure that that area is nice and clean. We see we've got fingerprints, we've got dirt. So we want to make sure that our epoxy will stick. So what we're doing is that we are using a professional grade and ammonia-based window cleaner. This way we can remove all the contaminants from the area. And we're going to do this 2 times. Before we start and before we actually repair. So as we can see right there, we've got a reflection coming from the inside of the windshield. That's not from the outside. But our first point of order is that we have to remove all bits of loose glass here. What we want to do is that we want to actually be able to inject epoxy into these air bubbles. This way we are stronger than a new windshield. So let's start drilling. Now, in order to get to the point where we can actually force air out of the repair and of course into these cracks right here, what we're going to do is that we are going to actually start by drilling. Now, I'm using a special diamond carbide bit that's designed to cut through glass. I know it's a little difficult to see. This is an extremely fine point. So I'm going to begin drilling. I'm going to start my drill at a 45-degree angle. The reason why is that we're going to try to kick out any of that glass that's stuck in there that's going to prevent the epoxy from flowing in freely. We also want to make sure that we can create the greatest vacuum possible. This is a challenging repair because the 2 bullseyes are so close to each other. So getting that vacuum is going to be a separate challenge in and of itself. But we're going to begin by simple drilling. Now, what makes this such a unique challenge, as we're going to see, is that now that we've drilled out the holes, see what we're actually dealing with, and we've gotten to the actual air pockets so we can inject them with epoxy, we now see 2 very close bullseyes with a crack. So now let's say that crack extended more than 8 inches. We obviously recommend windshield replacement, as well as if the crack extended anywhere near the border of the car. Again, that's structural integrity. But take a look. Our challenge will be to create a vacuum seal over the 2 of these stars right here, which we've now enlarged and drilled out, as you can see. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be injecting a curing epoxy. This is going to set in, and we have to make sure it fills in all these cracks. We see that these little cracks here have again begun to form, and obviously we don't want to need a new windshield. So let's start by placing our tool in place. So here we're using our mirror to center our repair using the tool, and we're actually putting it right in the middle of that first bullseye. And what we're going to do is we're going to tape off the area just to make sure some of that epoxy doesn't run and leave a real mess. So now with our tape folded over to catch any running epoxy, we're going to fill the tool with our UV curing epoxy system. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to do a little trick of tapping. We're doing this to try to displace any air bubbles located around the repair. And we're going to keep on creating vacuum with the tool. Now, after we've worked the vacuum, injecting and releasing air from the actual crack itself, plus the bullseye, we are now putting a curing strip on the windscreen. We're going to squeegee all air out using the back of a razor blade. We're going to hold that perpendicular to our repair. We're going to leave this in place for approximately 5 minutes. Now, as we're waiting for the repair to cure, I've got a fun little game we can all play at home. Let's see if we can do it. Now, I want you to think of a number at home. a number between 1 and 10. Don't tell me. Got it? Perfect. Now, I want you to multiply that number by 9. Again, don't tell me. And if there are 2 digits, if there are, I want you to add them together. Got it? Okay. So now, I want you to subtract 5 from your answer. All right? So remember, 5 from your answer, and I want you to think of a country that begins, if we could use an alphabet assignment. So 1 is A, 2 is B, etc. Think of that number you got. Think of a country that begins with whatever letter is assigned to the number that you have. Again, don't tell me. Got it? All right, perfect. So next what I want you to do is whatever that country is, think of the last letter of that country's name. Now think of an animal that begins with that letter. Okay, got it? Perfect. So now, with that animal that you picked, think of a color that corresponds to the last letter in the name of that animal. Again, don't tell me. Don't tell me. So while you're working on that, we're going to finish up the windshield repair. Now we're down to the moment of truth. Double bullseye plus a crack. So what we're going to do is we're going to very gently use the razor blade to lift our curing film. A little bit tough to get. Again, we're working in close quarters. So we're now ready to lift our repair. So, again, while we were waiting for everything to cure, did you think of the right answer? Well, let me see if I can read your mind. Now, might there be an orange kangaroo in Denmark? That's it, Robert Frankel, Avalon Honda, professional windshield repair, double bullseye with a 1-inch crack protruding from each side. As we can see, like it never happened.